evening, everyone, and welcome to Roy's Tie-Dye Sci-Fi Corner. This is episode number 278, Spazio, 1999. The classic 1975 Space 1999 film that was released in Italy back in January of 1975. And with me to discuss this classic is my friend and the one of two partners of Space 1999 Shops and Props and Chips, Mr. Gordon Moriguchi. Hey, Gordon.
How you doing, Roy?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Not too bad. Hope everybody out there in Royland is doing great.
Yeah, same here. And I see some people are commenting already, and I just wanted to say hi to them. Dennis Chevalier is joining us from Canada. Welcome, Dennis. And I see Philip is out there. He's saying hello. He said hello, Gordon, and hello, everyone. So hello back, Philip. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, guys.
Shari is joining us from downstairs, and she's saying hi to us. Hi, hon. And let me see here. We also have Christopher Michael Dalton is joining us. Hey, Chris. How's it going?
Hey, Chris.
And Randy Lee is joining us from Wisconsin, and he's saying, I asked AI if I should join. It said human decision required.
Yeah, but you should have asked AI in Italian tonight.
I wish I could even throw a line out in Italian, but I got nothing. And the sad thing is, part of my heritage is actually 50% Italian. I'm right down the middle. It's half Italian and half Swedish. But
nice.
Anyway.
Well, you would definitely blend in Italy. That's for sure.
There we go. Oh, Francine is out there. Hey, Francine. Thanks for joining. I think she's joining us from Connecticut. And Andy's out there. Andy Tucker. Andy. Welcome. Good to see you out there. I think
love all the videos that he's done for the convention. Love all the video work that he's done for each of the other events as well. Thank you, Andy. It's great seeing you in both Wonderfest and the convention.
Yeah, he's been great with all his recordings. And pleasure to meet you and your wife back in September. That was wonderful. And again, thank you for everything that you've done.
Yep.
And let me see here. Oh, I think Francine's throwing some Italian out there.
Buonasera, buonasera, buongiorno.
Thanks, Andy. We appreciate that. Let's see. Chris is saying, love the VIP eagle in the background, Gordon.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to Harold Wolf for that build.
Very, very cool. Now, here's a question. I am on this show. Digression is its middle name. So, and I feel bad because we have a surprise guest that's going to be joining us, and I had planned on maybe around between 8 and 8:15, and hopefully I won't go over with all the digressions here. I was actually rewatching Spazio 1999 today, and I know this is something of great debate. And I got to the point where the VIP Eagle is getting ready for takeoff, and it started to take off. And then what I did was I went backwards, and I went backwards frame by frame by frame on the TV.
Have a feeling
I'm saying to myself, you know what? You know where I'm going with this, right?
I do.
And I was waiting for the smoke to clear, no pun intended, because as I'm going in reverse, and I'm saying that all of it is covered with the orange for VIP.
Right. Yeah.
And then as the smoke starts to clear, and I'm actually literally on the very first frame because I went back frame by frame and I did it very slowly and I was meticulous about it.
Sure. And
to me, it looks like the orange is not in the upper section. And here originally I thought it was, but when I looked at that, image that was on the TV, to me, my brain was saying that it wasn't. And I know that this is up for debate and everything. So
yeah,
just want to get your input on that. And I'm sure you've probably done that too. And
well, I've owned the Product Enterprise older VIP, which doesn't take the orange all the way up. And then, of course, I have quite the scale of every last one of my VIPs now have the orange that goes all the way up.
Right.
So I like it all the way up. I think Harold likes it all the way up. Most of the stuff that I got was built by Harold. He's definitely a VIP fan.
Yep.
But yeah, whether it does or doesn't, it really doesn't matter. I'm just happy to be able to represent, and if you want, make you one that goes halfway up and make you one that goes all the way up, and then you'll be happy either way.
Honestly, it doesn't matter to me. It was more. I think personally, I think it looks better with it all the way up than.
I like it. I like it. Yeah.
In fact, even that scene in where, what I was going to say, isn't there the scene when Simmons, who we really don't get to see in this scene in Spazio in 1999, but when the eagle comes down and he's coming out, I believe there's almost like orange lighting that they have to try to simulate that.
That's exactly what they did. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can definitely tell. Yeah, it's it's ironic. You don't see too much Roy Daltrey, but you actually see him in the credits, and you see a couple of shots of him, but as an extra alpha, and especially after the moon left the Earth's orbit and everybody's trying recovering from their little wounds and whatnot. Yeah, literally cut right out of the episode. It was diabolical, if you ask me. But they still gave him credit, which was kind of bizarre. But I couldn't believe it. We go into Spazio, the very beginning of Breakaway, where you just skip over Victor and Helena over at the nuclear waste area disposal 2, and you're just right there in Commander Koenig's Eagle on his way to Alpha, and that's where we're at. Blows
that whole intro was that whole intro was cut. I mean, it did not exist, to your point, and there was a reworking. And the other thing too is I was smiling. The Eagle, Commander Koenig's Eagle, is referred to as Eagle 247. There's a lot of
like it's open 24/7. I don't know. No, I must admit, truth be told, as much as a fan as I am, and as much of a merchandise geek for 99 as I am, I have been rather lazy and very putting it on the back burner to ever watch Spazio 1999 ever. So I really never took the opportunity to watch it until the Anderson Entertainment's Blu-ray set came out, which, region free, golden opportunity. It's like, all right, I'll check this out. And then when I started watching it, it's like, oh my God, I got to tell Roy. The whole story is just totally different. Well, almost totally different. There's so many differences that would blow your mind if you're like a Breakaway geek, 1999 geek like we are.
Yeah.
And I am so grateful that, well, first of all, appreciate you, wanting to do a show discuss this. And second of all, I'm glad that I'm able to talk to more than one person that would appreciate the subtle and not so subtle differences of Spazio.
Yeah.
The really cool thing about it is that the Italians got the first opportunity of anyone in the world, it seems like, to watch Space 1999, period.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I know it's not Barry Gray. It's not the original. It's not uncut. It's not, 100% canon. I get it. But they got the opportunity to see it first before we did. 8.5, 9 months.
Yeah. The release date was January 14th of 1975. Now, things would have maybe had gone differently too, because the plan was to have Space 1999 released, at least, if I'm not mistaken, and our guest that'll be on later will give us information about that too. But I'm pretty sure it was set to be on CBS. I think the go-ahead had been going with that. But then what happened was there was a change with the ratings for UFO. And then what they did was they went with, of all things, which I have not covered on this show yet, and John Haig has been wanting to, and I kind of missed the opportunity with the window for last year for the 50th anniversary of that show. Planet of the Apes. I mean, they felt they had that and they were going to go with that instead of Space 1999. And I love the Planet of the Apes movies. I think they're wonderful, especially the 1968 one, the first one with Charlton Heston. But that series, I'm just going to leave it for that.
No, yeah, I can understand that.
So that kind of like threw a monkey in the wrench with that. So I probably, if the series had been premiered as they were planning, I wonder, you know what I mean? If Spazio 1999, they would, I don't know. I wonder, I seem to think that they wouldn't have brought it on earlier. Maybe they would have just kept it with, the release date in the cinema, in the Italian cinema of January 14th of 75. But.
Well, maybe Dave, or sorry, maybe somebody can do a little bit more of a highlight. Sorry, my bad. Could bring that to light. But the bottom line is that they must have made some deal with the Italians to get it out there, and they did long before the actual series premiere. And well, quite frankly, I don't necessarily know what the Italians were, the fans, the folks that actually went to the theaters and saw it, and then ultimately saw it on TV from like their TV version. It would have been interesting to get a little bit of input from that, and whether they were either blown away or it's like, oh, so that makes sense. The movie thing didn't really make much sense because there was so much extra stuff that was added to each of the 3 episodes, obviously to make the episodes right. Than what the movie cut out. Yeah. So I don't know. It was interesting, and 50 years later, finally get to see it. Taking the time to watch it ourselves. Wasn't.
I was just going to say exactly, and here we are, 50 years later. We're talking about it. You and I are in the same boat because there are a lot of folks that have actually seen it before, but both you and I have not. And it was interesting when we had the conversation that, you know what, this is really different. Roy, did you check it out? No, I haven't. I will check it out. Hey, let's collaborate. Let's do this fun show. So
yeah.
That's really cool. Before we go on, though, I'm not to throw a monkey wrench in. Folks, this is kind of like a sample of what we're going to be talking about, Spazio 1999. But before we go there with that, I thought we could talk about Space 1999 merchandise.
Hey, yeah, that's up my alley. Let's do it.
So, again, just to give a plug for Gordon, with Space 1999 props and chips, which he does with Todd Morton. And how long have you guys been doing this now, Gordon?
So we've actually started the props and ships page, I want to say March of 2015. Yeah, 2015. It was right after Alpha 2014's convention. And then a lot of discussion. Originally, the page was really going to be dedicated to the brand new upcoming 22-inch MPC Eagle. The Eagle One that was originally put out. It didn't come out until like January in 2016 in everybody's grubby hands. But we got to see the prototype there at Wonderfest in 2015. That was our first Wonderfest. But yeah, we started that page, and then I was talking to Todd. It's like, Todd, I think we need to not just focus on this because there's so much more kits. Not only that have been released, the 4 repops, the 4 originals from way back in the day, the 2 that came out in 1998 that were repops as well. But I think MPC has got a lot of plans for the future with this license. So maybe we could just talk about Space 1999 props and ships and kind of brand it that way. And we did. And it's been very successful. We have about 15,000 members now over the course of time. And all we want to do is we want to promote the awesomeness of 1999 kits and celebrate everybody's builds who wants to share their wonderful builds. And some of those builds are just absolutely amazing. Makes me a little jelly myself. Not only do I don't have the time to do stuff like that to that level, but I don't know if I would ever be able to get the skills for it or the patience for that matter. So, my motto is I don't build, I buy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have actually quite a bit of works of art from a lot of model builders, and I am so appreciative for that. And I love to celebrate those very things there on props and ships. I mean, obviously Todd does too. Todd and I have a pretty good collection going, but some of the stuff that the builders have built are just amazing. Not only that, I like to see the next generation of builders, the youngins coming out and, instead of getting on their gadgets, love to see them, following instructions and working with their hands and things like that. So it's always inspiring. It's really great to see things kind of, and hopefully with the new IP, what is it? The UFO, I think, is going to be next with Shadow Mobile.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of those kits coming out as MPC continues on with the Jerry Anderson or Anderson Entertainment or ITV licensing.
Yeah, it's a great time for Space 1999 fans, and it's just been evolving. And it's, when you go to these different events and you see what's being produced, and to your point, it's, the creativity and the talent by so many builders is incredible. And me personally, I have always been terrible at building models, and I do not have that gift, and I wish I did. But it's just, that's why when they do a pre-built that's being celebrated or sold, and we'll be showcasing a little bit. Well, we're actually not just showing some of these different photos. It's amazing what really comes to be from the talents that are able to put it together.
Oh, I love the pre-builds.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I just want to say hi to a couple other people that are joining us. Lou is joining us from Rhode Island. Hey,
Lou.
Lou. And Brian Jackson is out there joining us from the UK.
Hey, Brian, what's going on, man?
Good to see you, Brian. And then also Bill is joining us, and want to say hi to Bill. Bill, I always forget what state you're in. You'll have to remind me. I apologize for that. But thanks for joining us. And he actually commented that he was not aware of Spazio 1999. Yeah, we'll be coming back to that shortly, Bill. So stay tuned. But yeah,
for the last 10 years, Wonderfest, we've hit up Wonderfest. We used to share a nice 1999 exhibit in our kind of a deluxe room that Todd and I would go in on. They would have like this big old, I don't know, this big old living room type environment. But then in 2022 was the last time we did that. 2023 is when we actually showcased my 88-inch Eagle along with everything else that you see in that left-hand photo there in the dealer's room. So, more foot traffic, more celebration, more, awesomeness to show. And then Nick Tate was also there with us from 2023, 24, and 25. So Nick Tate's been very instrumental in helping showcase our exhibit, as well as, let's promote Nick Tate.
Absolutely. No. So, and then wonderful example of the Eagles in the left-hand photo with you. And then, of course, Todd holding the two Hawk models too.
Oh yeah, those are my 31s that he's holding. That was from Alpha 2017, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah, that was our first convention that we did, all three of us.
Isn't that crazy? That was 8 years ago already.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Yeah, no kidding.
Time has gone by. It really
absolutely is. But yeah, it's been good times, man. It's been good times.
Absolutely. So now I'm going to go on to the next photo, and we're going to talk about some of the merchandise that's coming out, and with the first on the list, and this is from Anderson Entertainment, and this is Breakaway in 4K collector's edition in with the steelbook included.
Right. So Anderson Entertainment, they're jumping on the 50th anniversary bandwagon, and obviously for common sense reasons, they're wanting to put out some really good products for the fans. And this is, I think this is upscaled off the 35 millimeter prints, if I'm not mistaken. I think some other folks could probably talk a little bit better than I could. But yeah, it's 4K. You're going to have to get a 4K player in order to enjoy it at 4K, or I don't know, maybe they'll stream it one day with our 4K TVs. That'd be kind of cool. But it's a nice collectible to get. It's still in pre-order. You can pre-order them now. I think they are limited to 1,999 copies.
There you go.
Maybe
that's the magic number.
I got my order in, so I'm covered.
And then the next one is talking about
gold. I love gold. Yeah, it's interesting. Product Enterprise and Steve Walker of Product Enterprise actually did this way back in the mid 2000s. So I guess celebrating the 50th anniversary, this particular diecast, Jamie Anderson is definitely taking advantage of his mold from I guess, or the tooling that is kind of a descendant from Eagle Moss. And this, if you take a good close look, this one thing that I've been trying to emphasize to everybody, if you take a good close look at this particular Eagle, they want to call it Eagle 1, but it's actually an Eagle 2 detail.
Hmm.
So, and this is the very first time that any die cast has actually been done up in Eagle 2 detail. Now, truth be told, the original model kit from Fundimensions, and then of course the repops, those are of more or less Eagle 2 details, but not to the level of the die cast collectible. So this is the first time that you're going to see this. Now, with the next iteration of Eagles, they plan on more iterations of the Eagles. Obviously, there's a cargo winch, and then I think that there's going to be a lab pod. They already got the tooling already completed for the pallet, so it makes sense to do the cargo winch right after that. I'm assuming, and then the lab pod sooner or later. Everybody's going to want the lab pod. Now, hopefully, they're going to be doing some sort of spine booster because Eagle Must didn't do a spine booster last time. So hopefully we'll see something that's of Eagle 4 coming from Anderson Entertainment. But to get back to the Gold Eagle, I'm looking forward to this, and I'm also looking forward. Y'all look forward to a nice comparison photo shoot because that's going to happen.
That'll be really cool. Yeah, just to see the differences.
Yep.
Between the two. Yeah, it's nice that they're showcasing Eagle 2 now a little bit more with the diecast, and it's getting its time in the limelight. So that's pretty cool.
Yep. Absolutely.
And now, I mean, in regards to this release, Eagle 1976. In fact, I had Tim on with and I forget his name. This is terrible. Tim and
Craig.
Craig. Thank you.
Yeah, Tim and
Two
Craig.
really, really nice guys. And I know you were they were down at Wonderfest, and I had the opportunity to meet them in London last year, and just so passionate about this project and just really, really going to bat for the fans for this. And this is we've talked about this years ago about the Mattel Eagle, about wouldn't it be great if it was reconceived and maybe given attention, and we even talked about the 50th anniversary too. It would be like the perfect time. And this was probably like maybe 6 or 7 years ago. And now fast forward, here we are. This is amazing.
Every time we go into Walmart, you would see the He-Man retros from Mattel, and Mattel did that, right? And they got very successful. And I'm always thinking, well, they did a really good job with the Eagle toy in the 70s. It was massive. So many things to do with it when we were kids. Why not do a retro? And I'm glad to see that Tim and Craig are doing that very thing with this. Not only that, they have a Dinky Eagle livery, and then they also have the original Mattel livery, with the red engines and the just the same paint that you would see in the original Mattel Eagle. So it's and then don't forget the little spacemen. They're supposed to be coming with it, the little tiny action figures. I'm not sure how they're going to box those up, but I got a feeling that I'm going to be probably messing with that with Nick McCarty and creating new cards and making some custom things with these, because that sounds like a lot of fun.
I'm envisioning all these middle-aged guys, and I should say I don't want to discount the the ladies too, but the middle-aged folks in our range.
Yeah.
Although I guess I've been told lately that middle age is kind of past, but anyway. Back in 1976, Christmas of 1976 was a great time to get this toy, and I wish I had my parents had gotten a photo of me opening that box, because I remember it so clearly that it was beside my bed when I woke up, and I was like ecstatic, and I was 10 years old, and I was like, that was the Christmas gift, and I was like, oh my God, this is just so freaking cool.
Absolutely, yeah, same here. I was living down in Crestview, Florida as a kid. Father was stationed Eglin Air Force Base down there, and the Christmas. That's exactly what I got. Well, the funny thing is that my story is that it's obviously a huge box, and what my mom did was she got a little smart and she relabeled it to go to somebody else, and so I didn't pay attention to it. I didn't think anything else of the Big Eagle with it being part of the Christmas lineup, but we got down to the very last gift, and Mom goes, "Hey, come on over here and help me open this up." And we started opening up, and it's like, oh my God, it's the Eagle, and I'm freaking out. This is like, oh, this is the best. Because they had got me the RCA soundtrack too, and
Wow, yeah.
that was cool. It was nice, but
Yeah.
that was the only other thing that was under the tree for me. And I'm thinking, oh wow, well, at least I got the soundtrack. But when I opened that, I was like, oh man, the whole world just shifted. It was amazing.
Same here. Yeah, I mean, that I remember. And the other thing that I got, I think it was the year, actually, I think it was the year before, in 75, was the Enterprise, the one that opened up, and it had the bridge, it had the transporter, and it had
the Omega playset.
The playset. That was my 75 gift.
Nice.
So yeah, and I those are the two that I remember. In regards to anything else, I had a Batmobile that I got. I think it was maybe a year, a couple of years before that. It was the one that was blue and it lit up. And
you didn't get any of the Kenner SSPs? Do you remember those?
No.
Yes, these cars that you stick the stick in and you pull it and have that wheel, and then
it just... I do remember those now that you're saying. I didn't realize that's what it was called. But yes,
yeah, SSPs. They had the Smash Up Derby set. The two would with the ramps and everything, and the pieces would fly off when they bash into each other. Oh my gosh, that was also a 1976 awesome gift.
Wow, very cool.
Get that Smash Up Derby.
The other thing for me was Legos. I mean, I was always, the funny thing is I couldn't build models, but with Legos, I would build different things, and I would try to build like spaceships. I have like a block. I would make an eagle, and it looked like a box because back then Legos, they were hardly any curved pieces. You basically had these blocks that you had to just deal with, and I tried to be as creative as I could as possible with those things. And now they've I think we talked about this, but they're releasing the next generation. The Enterprise, the Enterprise D is being released for Christmas this year. I mean, again, digression, Gordon.
No doubt. I wouldn't mind dabbling into that Enterprise D. No, the big Enterprise for me this year is going to be the Tell Me Plus, the motion picture 1/350th light up.
That was amazing.
Oh my gosh. So I have the TOS, and the TOS was absolutely amazing. I don't care what anybody says. It lights up. It looks spectacular. You could be, oh yeah, the screw holes or something is still visible. It's like, whatever. I got mine. And I'm so looking forward to the motion picture Enterprise, probably more so than the TOS, because I just love it. When the motion picture came out, that was amazing.
No, I mean that probably my favorite scene in that movie is when when Scotty brings Kirk over to the Enterprise, and that whole 5-minute tour. I mean, on the big screen. I mean, when we got our TV like 10 years ago, it was a big screen, and I said, you know what, that I put that Blu-ray in for that, and that was the opening scene on that television. I just love watching that, and I mean. The Enterprise is a character in itself, and the fact that Kirk is reunited with it, and it was a beautiful model. I mean, what they did with that work. The original Enterprise holds a special place, and that's always going to be my favorite. But as far as if you want to go from a modeling standpoint, I mean, and not nostalgia, I would agree with you. It's the motion picture Enterprise.
But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. It's supposed to be here sometime after Thanksgiving, so I'm pretty excited. We've been waiting.
Yeah,
we've been waiting.
Some other comments that came through. Let's see. Oh, Brian said we all love the Eagles.
Oh yeah.
And Chris said I missed the 1976 Mattel Eagle. I want to say hi to Martin. Martin is joining us from New York. Welcome, Martin. Great to see you out there.
Hey.
Dennis said, hi, I had the original Mattel Eagle back in 1976, and this one is slightly larger. Yes, it is.
Yep, 4 inches.
And it's the detail that they have put on this with Tim and Craig have made sure to have done it. They've gone over and beyond, and it's been taking time, and rightfully so, because you know what, they're doing it right, and they've done it right, and it's going to be an incredible toy.
I'm gonna have to make more room because I'm gonna have to find a way to display all three of them. Oh yeah.
Seriously, Eagle 1, 2, and 3, right?
That's right. That's right. And it breaks the green.
Brian is saying, we never had this fantastic Eagle in the UK as far as I can remember. Such a pity, but I've made up for it with the new versions, including the Dinky remake.
Nice. Very cool.
Cool. You know, quick comment, I've told you this before, Gordon. For me personally, I never was a fan of the Dinky just because it was green, and I was just I was almost like a purist with that. However, not to take away from everybody that loves it, I think it's amazing. I think it's wonderful that they're doing this as a retro, and
it's all nostalgic, right?
Absolutely, and it's how it appeals to you personally. So I think it's wonderful. That's something
we all knew it was a marketing gimmick. You had to buy both of them and do the little pod swapping. Absolutely. Dinky wasn't stupid. They knew what they were doing.
Yeah. Chris also said, I once built an Eagle out of Legos. It almost looked like the moon bus from 2001. That's pretty cool. Hey, Andrew's joining us from Australia.
Hey, Andrew.
He said, never had the Mattel Eagle here in Australia, sadly.
Yeah, I understand that. It's a shame that the Mattel didn't get around the world. It was mostly on the American or North American market.
Yeah,
it really was. Except for the Zython. The Germans ended up with the Zython. All 333 of them. Yeah.
I remember that.
Oh, yeah.
Bill is saying enterprise porn.
Oh, he's probably talking about the Tomy Plus. Yeah. Yeah. So, or the Lego for all I know.
Exactly. Martin is saying, well, it does have it. Nice. It does have nice nacelles. Yeah, and it can separate. So there you go.
Well, speaking of the motion picture one, I certainly hope that the lighting is spectacular, unlike the prototype that first was shown.
Yes, I would agree. Jerry's out there. Hey, Jerry, thanks for joining us.
Jerry, how you been?
Andrew's saying Dinky Freighter came out in white, at least as well as blue. Lots of laughs. That's right. They had a blue one. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, Eagle 1976. So stay tuned. That is going to be coming out shortly. And then this, I saw this in passing, Gordon, but I didn't really absorb it. So it's pretty cool that they're doing a role-playing game for this.
Yeah, they I guess the Modicius. I don't really remember how to pronounce the name. They do all kinds of RPG type games, and I think Anderson Entertainment partnered up with this particular company, and they put out a core book. I think there's a downloadable add-on, and there might be some pages that you just fill out, and pretty much made an RPG game out of 1999. Hopefully, it's successful. I haven't ordered the actual book myself. It just wasn't high on my priority list because I'm not an RPG player.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily a merchandise completist either, although in my head, I want to make sure that I understand what's coming out and at least spread the word to the fans out there.
Right.
But yeah, it's out there. It's available through Jerry Anderson's store. Check it out. You can even get some dice.
Yeah, there you go. Well, Sherry and I are always playing Yahtzee, so there we go.
I was wondering if that's going to be a comparable thing.
And then, of course, we'll be talking about Super Space Theater in a little bit, but this is Super Space Theater Volume 2.
Well, the funny thing is, and somebody else would probably be saying something very similar to this, is that after all this time, and oh my gosh, and this really has nothing to do with Spazio. This has everything to do with you and I growing up in the 80s. This was our only way to watch Space 1999 for at least 15 years.
Absolutely.
For at least 15 years. Yeah, we might have been disappointed with Destination Moonbase Alpha. Yeah, we might have been disappointed with Sybil Danning and her silliness with those two porn box videos that had come out back in the day. But how else was you going to be able to watch Breakaway and War Games and Journey or the Black Sun and Collision Course? How else were you going to be able to do that? And then Cosmic Princess, I didn't even manage to get. That's when J2 Communications put out those first 4 VHS uncut episodes back in 1990, right? That's when Cosmic Princess came to my mind.
Yep.
Even though I think it was a 1982 release. And the only other thing that we have is the Town Mook from Japan. Those were really the only serious reference things that we had with the 80s. And then the 90s, there was a little bit of sprinkling here and there. You had laser discs, and you had the VHSs, and I think David Hirsch worked with Derek Wadsworth on the promo. The very first time we got the Year 2 soundtrack in 1996. 1998, for 1999, put out the Eagle and the Moonbase Alpha kit by AMT, repops, and that was about it for the 1990s. I mean, there was probably third-party stuff out there and some conventions. Let's not forget Comet Miniatures and their little rough Eagle. You'd really have to be a very big, advanced person to put one of those together and make it look good. But slim pickings through those 2 decades.
Those were very lean years when it came to Space 1999. In fact, I remember in I think it was Starlog number 6 when they made the announcement, and David actually made. I'm not sure if David wrote the column for that or not, but it was mentioned that the show had been canceled. It's the Starlog number 6 has Rocket Ship XLM on the cover.
Yeah. Yes,
and there's the photo of Martin Landau with Catherine Schell from The Guardian of Paris, and they're doing the announcement. And then one of the comments that was in there was, "You better go out and get your toy, your model Eagle while you can, while it's available." But then we were very fortunate because David Hirsch did his column, which was the Space 1999, was the Jerry Anderson Space Report, and I think that premiered with, if I remember correctly, issue number 15, which was This Island Earth on the cover. And I was like stoked by that because it was like, okay, you know what? Because unfortunately, when the show went off, everything like dried up. It was like you could not find any mention of the show, hardly. I mean, it was.
Well, the only thing that I saw was Dinky Eagles through 79.
Okay,
that was about it, because they were out for 5 years total.
Mm.
Believe it or not, it's probably the demise of why Dinky went out of business, because they didn't put out new IP out there as often as they probably should have. 5 years of the Eagle, good grief.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, Sherry's commenting. She's saying, I have to say this. It's just a toy. Lots of laughs.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
No, but it's true though. And then, I mean, we only had the Space Report, and then, Starlog would do the spaceships, the aliens, you know what I mean? And I remember the
photo guidebooks, yes.
The photo guidebooks, and, you got to see Eagle 4, and, it even referenced it as Commander Koenig's Eagle, and it was like, oh, wow, this is pretty cool. But it was just like little trinkets. And then there was the talk about syndication that 1999 probably wouldn't be available, at least until, hold on to your hats, folks, for this, until 1984. Because the rights were going to be, unavailable. And what was going to happen is there was only 48 episodes. So it wasn't like Star Trek where they had 3 seasons and they could run them. I mean, after if they were running a Monday through Friday, within literally 2 months, they'd have to recirculate. So anything that is really below 3 seasons, and back when a season was 24 episodes.
Right.
It was, syndication was not really going to happen for the show. So it just disappeared. And then, as the 80s, moved on, to your point, Gordon, with these compilations, this is all we had. Now, I was very fortunate because I had met Lou in 1987, and he had recordings, and he was of the show, and he was very kind enough to share his recordings with me. So I was able to actually see some of these episodes that I hadn't seen. There was also a company that you could mail to through a mail service that actually had the episodes, and you would actually, purchase them, which I would be probably highly, unethical right now, or
probably pretty pricey too back then.
Yeah, it was. And it was just they were uncut too, which was really cool. But anyway, that was really your only means to get them. Yep. So if you were fortunate enough to know somebody that had them, and then they were willing to share, which Lou, which was great. And I was able to see shows that I hadn't seen in a long time. And then, of course, then what happened was we got into the 90s, and then things started to change. And then 1999 approaching, that was just
Yep.
like, that opened the doors. And then, fast
Yeah,
forward.
then DVDs started showing up 2001, 2002 timeframe. And then for the first time, we got the opportunity to see all 48 episodes in one package. It was kind of nice.
Yeah. But it's
now,
like,
to rewind though, back in the 80s, when it comes to super space theater, I find it rather interesting that a lot of people had talked about how when you re-release these super space theaters and you add special effects or you add widescreen or change whatever, I'm thinking to myself, are you kidding me? When they're trying to say, hey, this isn't canon. Dude, the super space theater movies were not canon to begin with. They were already chopped up episodes. So what your canon of the canon of the original of I don't understand some of that mentality.
no. I was just, to your point, I was just happy to be able to watch it. And granted, the music was not the music that was in the episode. You know what? I didn't care. It was like, I'm able to actually watch the majority of the episode and to actually see it, which I hadn't seen in years, and actually enjoy it.
When I joined the Air Force, I saw Destination Moonbase Alpha like a blockbuster. So I immediately thought to myself, how am I going to get this? I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to rent 2 video machines, and I'm going to buy a blank and record it. So I have like 5th generation freaking recording, bleed color. My copy of Destination, and I was pretty happy with that.
Yeah, and that was the only way. And it's funny too. I was very fortunate. My parents actually had gotten a video recorder in 1980. Wait a minute, when was it? 79 or 80? It was right around that time.
Those things were so darn expensive back then. There was no way.
Exactly. And what happened was I actually had one tape. One tape I think was like $20, and we're talking about, and I had to save my allowance for that. And the problem was I could only tape so much on it. And then what happened was I was, they were showing Star Trek and then in Space 1999, and I had recorded a couple episodes, and I was like, oh, Space 1999, they'll have this on. And then what happened was I erased it like an idiot.
Uh-oh.
And then, yeah, we see how that went, right?
Yeah, that's funny. You forgot to notch out that notch in the tape.
Yeah, exactly.
That's funny.
But yeah,
the 80s were tough when it comes to reruns, and the 90s as well. Man, the 90s, talking about the uncut episodes for the first time. So I don't understand the American marketing when VHS would have been the way to go, but they did only 4 episodes on video.
Yeah.
And they did 46 of the 48, obviously for licensing purposes. The Bring Us a Wonder wasn't included. I think CBS Fox just never released it just yet. But I was on a quest to go to every Camelot Music in the southeast of the United States to figure out, what volumes am I going to get? Because a lot of them by then in the mid 90s were already on clearance bins. So you could pick them up for like $15 a piece instead of the full 30.
Yeah.
And that's how I ended up getting my 46 of the 48 episodes. I got them all on Laserdisc. And that precious number 1 was hard to come by. I'm glad I ordered it when I was actually stationed in Korea, came to the Yongsan Army Post, BX. I special ordered it there, and that's how I got my volume 1.
Wow.
Yeah, back in 1992, I think. 92.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yep. But yeah, volume 1, I've heard stories like a urban myth or urban legend talking about how the whole or just about the entire shipment of volume 1s kind of went up in a fire somewhere, somehow, some warehouse fire. So that's why there's so few of them.
Okay.
Anyway, I know it's just like silly.
No, but you know what? There's stuff like that happens. In fact, and sadly, we're talking about David Hirsch, Starlog magazine. You were able to order back issues for the longest time after after they had went out of production. Yeah. But supposedly there was a fire in their warehouse, and the majority of those, I think it was for Starlog, and there was another magazine that they did in Fangoria, yeah. Future. And I think they lost those as well too. So wow. It's kind of crazy. Andrew comments, he said, we had the Moonbase Alpha technical notebook that kept me going, thanks to David Hirsch. Yeah, I remember the day I got that, and I was just waiting for that to come from start.
We waited weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, months,
Yeah.
it felt like. Good
And
grief.
I was so excited. And I remember one of the things, I went right to the episode guide, and when I saw that Ring Around the Moon was the 4th episode, I was like, what? And then it was like, okay, that explains why the opening credits were the way that it was. And then I found out the Dragon's Domain was the second to the last episode of the first season. I was like, wait a minute, what? I'm thinking, because the way it was televised, it was the second episode, when it was originally. But anyway, again, could go on and on about it.
Oh yeah.
Randy's also commenting. He's saying, I was lucky enough to work at Radio Shack where I got to borrow VCRs.
Nice.
There you go. Star Wars got the budget. Space 1999 got the IKEA furniture. Oh, boy.
That's true.
Hey,
I wanted to show real quick before we got too far away from the Mattel Eagle.
Yeah.
Did you ever see these?
I have seen that, and I know what that is. That's pretty awesome, actually. That's the prototype, isn't it?
It's a reproduction of the prototype. I don't own the prototype. There's only one real prototype, but this is a nice reproduction. But yeah, it would have been cool to see these figures in addition to the figures that came with the Eagle One.
Yes,
that would have been
really
nice.
Cool.
As you were.
Yeah, no, thanks. Thanks for sharing that too. I just wanted to say hi to Bill, my friend. He's joining us from Harmony, New Jersey. Hey, Bill, good to see you out there. Thanks for coming on.
Hey, Bill.
And Chris is saying Future Life was published by Starlog. Oh, I didn't realize that. Okay.
Yeah, the first couple of issues were Future, and then they changed the name.
Future, yeah. Getting back to the merchandise real quick, and then we'll get to Spazio. Then, of course, the next release. This is pretty. I know that you were talking about this in Burbank in regard you and Todd.
Yeah. So the cool thing about this kit is that now you get to get an entire Eagle or a MPC 22-inch Eagle kit with Eagle 1 detail as Eagle 4 from the Metamorph. They call it, not to confuse the absolute snot out of everybody, but when the Lab Pod Eagle was released a few years ago from MPC, it was underneath Eagle 2 detail. This time they're going back to the Eagle 1 detail. So now you can do one or the other. I was able to swap pods with mine and do a really good photo shoot for the Space 1999 series to show you what you would get. The only downside to this kit, at least according to the photographs that you see, is you don't get that engine ring that goes around like what Brian Johnson added on for the thruster effect. That has actually been added on to the little 14-inch kit, the 1/72nd scale Eagle 4 kit. But this one, it doesn't look like they added it. So that's one of those things that you're probably going to have to do yourself if you want to do it as canon for the year 2 episode Eagle. So, but the cool thing is that you get the whole Eagle, you get the lab pod, and you get the spine booster. Plus, you get a little bit of hanger parts to give you that really good view from what you saw from the Metamorph. To do a nice diorama for that when Koenig wanted to add spine booster to the Eagle because he might be in a hurry to get back. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying. I love when we have the opportunities to see the hangers, and they really got into that a little bit more in the second year. I mean, we did get glimpses in the first season, especially in Breakaway.
And all those cardboard Eagles.
Yep. But year 2, especially with the Metamorph, and then of course with Space Warp. I mean, that was just amazing. That whole sequence of with the underground hangar, and then the Seance Spectre, we got to see the launch pad seal up too, which is kind of cool.
Oh yeah, but the cool thing, another cool thing about this kit is not 100% repop. It is sort of, but it isn't. You know what I'm saying? In this particular configuration, you get all of what you see here. Nice. Now in the next kit, total repop, but it's a twofer. Right, so you get the Eagle and you get the Hawk at the 140 or 1/72nd scale, which is a 14-inch Eagle, and of course the 10-inch Hawk. The cool thing is that you get 2 for 1 price. You could play war games, get 3 kits, and do the war games diorama, and kind of go to town in that fashion. But the cool thing is, not only are we celebrating the 50th anniversary, but we're getting some accurate kits in our collection, in our display. Which, I mean, good grief, you weren't able to do that up until around the 2016 timeframe.
Wow.
So this great kit. I would highly recommend jumping on it. In addition to these kits, if you're a UFO fan, like I said, Shadow Mobile should be coming out soon. We actually featured that a little bit in Wonderfest this year.
Nice. Yeah, Jerry Anderson is being focused on, and UFO. I mean, in itself, I mean, it has such a strong following too, and it just to this day, it never gets old.
Well, it's funny you should say that, because there's more of a following than I even gave credit for. The page that I run, the UFO series page, I have is it 90,000?
Wow.
Is it 90,000 followers? I cannot remember to save my life. But yeah, there is a lot of people that really like that show. 94K. I'm at 94K now.
Wow.
So there's a lot of people out there that love the show, and it was probably a good thing that they put out the Shadow Mobile first. I'm glad. I hope to see it be able to take RC motors and turn that into a kind of a operational tank type vehicle. And then of course, I think either the second to the last or the last is going to be the Interceptor. Everybody and their brother loves the Interceptor.
Oh yeah, the Interceptors they're so cool.
Yeah.
Bill just commented. He said, "I love UFO. I was just watching it yesterday. In fact, there's a lot of folks out there that don't like or not as keen of 1999, but when it comes to UFO, they love UFO. So it's just and it's whatever your preference is. But I
think it's the purple hair. That's what
it was always cool too, because when they would come back to Earth, then their hair color would turn back to normal. It was like brown.
yeah, that's funny. No, I think they were wigs. I think they were used for protective purposes. No, but what do I know?
It was a lot of fun. Dennis said UFO was a great series, and then Bill said, Mary said, not again.
Oh yeah.
Oh man. But anyway, no, thanks for that great update, Gordon. It was awesome. Thank you for sharing that information. And there's a lot of cool stuff for fans to look forward to. And Christmas is right around the corner. So there you go.
Oh yeah. Well, so actually Black Friday is around the corner.
Oh.
Jerry Anderson's store is actually going to be doing some serious deep discounts going on at their store. So jerryanderson.com, check out their store. I'm a bit of an affiliate for them. So I love to help them as best I can. So you'll see advertisements on the pages that I run. Yeah, check it out.
Very cool. Well, again, thanks for sharing that.
You bet.
So yes, we are going to jump back to Spazio 1999. Now, with that said, wow. We touched upon it a little bit at the very beginning, just to give the folks out there just a taste. But it really takes the stories in a different direction.
It does.
Mean, it's almost like you what there's a saying, and it's not coming to my mind, but it's like you have the core of it, but it's like all the layers around it are different.
They are.
That's the best way to explain it. I mean, and the other piece of it is too, there's the translation piece. I mean, there's things that are going to be lost. What is it? You say lost in translation, right? Because it's
interpreted differently, right?
Or interpreted differently.
Yeah.
True. But the whole thing in regards to the because I was actually watching or starting to watch it. I was trying to anticipate in my mind, okay, with these cuts, what direction are they going to go in? I know they've taken, just to let the folks out there know who haven't seen it, or if you have seen it, you'll know what we're talking about. They've taken the 3 episodes of Breakaway, Ring Around the Moon, and Another Time, Another Place, and they've compiled the 3 episodes together. However, they've compiled it together to have it flow as one story, or an attempt to flow as one story.
Attempt.
Without the inconsistencies, which unfortunately there are inconsistencies. For me, one of the big ones was the Metaprobe. That was like out the window.
Yep. Yeah, totally cut. Couldn't believe it. It's like,
Yeah.
the Metaprobe, get rid of that. It's interesting. I wonder who really came up with the idea to do the editing in the first place. There's no Commissioner Simmons. There's no Metaprobe. There's different details in storylines. So, like, let's say the back and forth between Koenig and Commander Gorski. I wrote this down. I couldn't wait for you to come. I can't wait to go back home. I will sleep in my dacha near Moscow.
Yep.
Totally not even part of the original episode of Breakaway.
No, because Gorski pretty much was being relieved of duty, and he was suspended. Koenig has that conversation with Bergman that he was suspended. That was totally niched.
Yeah.
And all that tension. I mean, there is that one line where when Koenig is talking to Dr. Russell, that she's not able to mention radiation.
Oh, yeah.
It's nothing about, the tension that was going on between Gorski and Helena. And that was something that was even cut even further, but we're not going to go into, get into
Well, right before that, Koenig and Bergman's office discussion is totally cut, but used later.
Yes.
You can tell that it was actually used later, but for a different dialogue altogether.
Exactly.
They totally changed the whole dialogue.
Yeah.
Blew my mind how they were able to kind of literally inject that. That blew my mind. Also, the lack of music throughout the entire episodes, all three of them. Yes, I know the crappy music that Morricone had. Is that pronounced right, Morricone?
Yes.
Yeah. That had done, and there were some pieces of that were just cringy. But that still doesn't change the fact that I would say the lion's share of the episode was void of music, or had very little bit of something humming in the background, which was rather odd because, for 50 years we've been so used to Barry Gray's wonderful, wonderful music.
Yeah.
That is the episode. I mean, it's like John Williams in Star Wars. How can you imagine anything else in Star Wars other than John Williams's music?
Yeah.
Right. You just can't.
It changes the entire dynamics of what you're watching. I mean, it's almost it's a great test to do, where if you're watching something and you take the sound away and there's no dialogue. With a lot of these shows, we know the dialogue inside and out because we watch these shows, and I'm not even exaggerating, like 1,000 times over at this point. And it's not even exaggeration for the majority.
You know me well enough to know that I'm not going to ignore the fact that people are dying up here.
Exactly. It's just so when you're not hearing that in the background, it really comes through. Andrew's saying, I have the Spazio 1999 movie, but haven't gotten around to watching it yet. You have me.
Oh yeah, you got to
definitely
watch it.
Check it out. Yeah, I mean, it's wonderful to experience because, and we're not knocking it for any, we're just commenting about, our feelings on it, but definitely check it out. If you have not seen it, I encourage you to watch it. And I would encourage you to watch it at least twice, because the first time will be just to be wowed by the differences. And then the second time would be to just kind of process those differences.
You're actually going to be shaking your head a lot during that first time.
Yeah.
It's like, you just, it's like that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Where did this other scene go?
Yeah. You're waiting for different things to happen, and it doesn't. And, in regards to the whole thing with the Metaprobe not being in the movie, I was thinking right away, okay, well, if the Metaprobe's not in the movie, how are they going to explain the, Eric and Frank? And they basically indicate them that they just reference them as being astronauts.
Yep.
And that
around the moon, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then what happens is Koenig wants to see them. It's him seeing the astronauts. And that's how they get around it. There's no mention again of the Metaprobe. In fact, the other scene I was waiting for is when, and I was thinking maybe it was going to get cut, is when Koenig goes to see Carter, and when he goes, because Carter's first line is, "They died, Eric, Frank, of what? I mean, I was told," and then he's like, "You were told lies."
Right.
Koenig goes over to the
Metaprobe screen.
Metaprobe. And in
Turns
fact,
it
the
on.
Metaprobe is referenced earlier on where Carter says this is his vision of like almost like of a shuttle or of something 10 years in the future.
Yeah.
And that was in the scene that was earlier in the movie that, you know, when you know, they see that. So this time he basically just says, you know, there's not going to be any more shuttles going on back to Earth now because of this, you know, virus or whatever it is, or the radiation. He just turns it off. That's how they got around it. And that's just like one example of a cut and a reworking of the dialogue, the script.
Absolutely. So Andy Tucker was saying another Spazio 1999 virgin, watching it after this.
Yeah, we're not trying to put any spoilers out there, but we're just trying to give you a little awareness. And again, definitely check it out. I mean, and what was fun about it was, again, like, you know, Gordon said, you know, I had not seen it. He had not seen it. So it's always fun to come across something different. And, you know, especially
this different.
And it really was.
Yeah. By the way, so we go back to Dr. Russell and Koenig's in Dr. Russell's office. Well, while letting Koenig in for the first time, that microscope was a replica. It was a college prize. It was not the original, but they said it was the original. It's like, oh my God. You know, little things like that.
And it was something that was a family. It was in the family. It wasn't like, to your point, it wasn't a college prize. It was something that was kept within the family.
And that just blew me away. It's like, you literally changed the story.
Yeah.
For no reason. I mean, to me, I think that they could have kept the college prize piece of that.
Sure.
Right. Sure. You know, so maybe it was interpretation. Maybe that was the problem with going from English to Italian and then back to the interpretation piece. I don't know. Maybe they don't understand what college prize means. That
could be. That's a possibility. The other thing I picked up on was Frank Nordstrom. Did you in which because it's supposed to be Eric Sparkman and Frank Warren. They named him Frank Nordstrom in the
where he was turning off the buttons when she was turning off the buttons. Yeah.
It said Frank Nordstrom died at 13. No, I'm sorry. When Koenig is talking to Bob Mathias, he says Frank Nordstrom died at 1328.
Yeah.
When they're having the conversation, just little things. And again, I do realize, you know, with the interpretation and everything, but it's more about the cut scenes, though, that different things were just eliminated.
Another thing that when Koenig was having a discussion with Carter, they were talking about the eagles that have radiation detection.
Right. There was like 3 of them, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think all of them have radiation detection or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. And
I also thought it was rather interesting at the end, not to be going where you say digress, I'm going to digress. At the end of the breakaway portion of the story, they talked about how many eagles they had left. And I thought that was interesting.
Well, they said 16. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was interesting considering they were in the hundreds.
Well, they've gone through a bunch, didn't they?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, we won't go there. We'll just leave that one alone.
The other sequence that was cut was the remote control sequence.
Yes,
too.
I think for timing purposes, though, that was necessary.
Yeah,
I kind of attribute that to a necessary evil. Shame. There's a lot of great stuff in there, but yeah, that to me is a necessary evil. Once Koenig went there and he said to Helena after he recovered, you know, I didn't think you really cared. Mm-hmm. Ultimately, I think that was the only need to go out to Area 2 before they made the conscious decision to rip the pile apart, destroy the mass, and spread the canisters over a wide dispersed area.
Yeah.
So ultimately, all that was cut for timing purposes, and of course, you know, they wanted to cut out
Simmons. That conversation, that conversation was included Simmons, and he was, you know, pretty much. In fact, you get to almost see Simmons when Koenig is saying, you know, as far as his decision is what they're going to do, and he asked about having the computer bring that up, and then what happens is the computer obviously brings something up on the screen. We don't see it because they're all fixated on it. And then he turns and then he's about ready to face Simmons because he looks at him because he said, whatever we do affects all of us here, all of us. He turns and they're going to show Simmons it cut. And then he's walking up the steps to go to his, his desk area. And then you see in the background where it says human decision, it's on the other monitor. So that's the awareness of what everybody was seeing, but it wasn't telegraphed.
Man, talk about a letdown.
Yeah. The other thing too is when we get to see the news guy on Earth, they really go on about the destruction. Though they go into greater detail, which I thought was appropriate. I thought that was a good choice. I mean, they kind of touched upon it in the regular version of Breakaway, but they really drove the point of how millions of people had died and how there was so much devastation. And then they referenced the different cities. And I think New York was even referenced at one point, if I remember correctly, too.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. What satellite was used to get their own vision or their own scene when they were going away from the Earth?
They said it was a Gamma satellite.
Gamma 3.
Gamma 3. Yeah.
Gamma 3. What was the satellite name out of Breakaway, though? I can't remember.
I don't think they actually referenced it. I don't think it had a name, did it?
I don't remember. I know it's something different, but
no, it didn't.
Definitely not Gamma 3.
No, it wasn't Gamma 3, and it did. They never referenced that. The only time I remember them saying about our own orbital identification satellite or orbital satellite was in Collision Course when Koenig, he's trying to communicate with Alan, and then he said we're still getting our own orbital identification from the.
So Christopher Dalton says the Mars satellite. That makes sense.
That would make sense, but I don't remember them referencing that title though.
The Mars satellite, I do, from Breakaway. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
You got me on that one because I don't recall them saying the Mars satellite.
I know it's check it out.
I'm very interested to know
You're gonna have to see Breakaway for the 1001.
No, I mean I'm if you got me, but I'm just trying to think of when they said that because I don't remember it being said.
It was towards the end when they were. We got a picture of the Mars from the Mars satellite. Yeah, I remember that.
Oh, you know what? He said it's bouncing off of one of our satellites. I didn't realize they said Mars. You know what? That's cool because I didn't know that they said Mars. See, you learn something new every time on this show.
Every single time.
And I think our special guest is probably like kind of.
Oh yeah, let's bring him. So I want to say one more thing, and then we'll go to that.
Okay.
So. Another thing that was really interesting was when the Italian dialogue said something about the commander told Carter to go back to Earth. Carter wanted to go back to Alpha.
Yes. I thought that was
totally bizarre.
Yeah, but the fact that he was saying, go back to Earth, and it was almost like, try to go home. I thought that was actually a nice touch because it was. I mean, I like it the way everything turned out, but it was almost like he was saying, if you can make it back home, go back home. I thought that was a good choice.
Yeah.
For some, if you were going to change it and make it different, I thought that was a good decision.
It was a nice choice, but yeah, it was just totally different.
Absolutely. Andrew said it would be nice if the original Void Ahead would turn up and we could get to see what it was like before it became Breakaway.
Didn't David Hirsch and Robert Wood write about that?
They did. So if you haven't already, you may want to get one of these two books. And I'm going to give a plug for David Hirsch because I think he'd appreciate it. This is this one. It's everything that might have been.
Yep.
And then there's also the other one, which is Maybe There.
Yep.
So definitely
both of those are available through Amazon and Kindle, I believe. The one Roy's holding there is a hardbound of Maybe There. That's not available anymore, but you get paperback copies of both.
So with that said, I think that's a good lead in. I think it's time we bring in our special guest, the one and only, our friend, Mr. David Hirsch.
It's a good thing you didn't have me on because I was screaming half the time going, I remember that. By the way, Gamma 3 is the space station in the Green Slime, which was this based on a story that came out of the Gamma 4 quadrilogy that was done. You know, Wild Wild Planet, Planet on the Prowl was the space station that was the location. So probably whoever wrote the original dialogue for Spazio probably remembered that and said, "Oh, I'll put that in."
A nod,
Nice.
yeah. Very cool.
Because those were, popular movies. They still are,
Yeah.
Sure.
So David, we have been having a lot of fun talking about Spazio 1999. Both Gordon and I, yes, had not seen this.
Oh God!
And it was definitely
It is. I mean, I was curious when we were working on the original network SST package, and Tim Mallett was rebuilding the film, and Giuseppe Turto was doing all the translations for the subtitles, because I think someone had a VHS copy, but they wanted to do an upgrade for digital, so they rebuilt it from the original ITV Masters. So they created the widescreen version and whatever. But it's having done Journey Through the Black Sun and Cosmic Princess, I was curious to see how someone else would have edited the episodes. And here you have them hacking almost 20 minutes out of each episode.
Yep.
I think I timed each to run just slightly over 32 minutes each. I mean, Breakaway is just hacked up because it was. I mean, the final episode itself was, condensed from a lot of material, and you have all these little subplots that were pulled out. As you said, Simmons is just a glorified extra. Yep. We don't even know why Alan takes off in a orange painted eagle. It's just there. The base is called Alpha 2 all through
Alpha 2, yes.
For no reason. Yep. And just all the little subtle changes all through it. As you said, all the little subplot about Gorski and Helena, which was only hinted at in the final episode.
Yeah,
that's all pulled out. But they hacked out. Another time, another place. Regina is also a glorified extra.
Yeah.
So the only one that actually think Ring Around the Moon kind of survives a lot better because it moves along a lot faster.
It does. It does.
But it Ring Around the Moon only works following Breakaway because it kind of does match the situation they're in. And then all of a sudden they say they're falling into the debris of the exploded planet Triton, which I thought this was destroyed millions of years ago or something. And that becomes this wormhole that sends them back to Earth. It's very bizarre.
Yeah, I would have at least thought they were going to say that it was the probe that they were encountering.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And I listened to it twice, and I said, wait a minute. They're actually saying Triton.
Yeah.
Not the probe. Also, it ends so abruptly, too.
It does.
So I thought that was weird editing, but I agree with you guys about the music. It is typical of Italian science fiction films. If you look at any film, from Battle of the Planet or the one with Claude Rains, Mission Stardust, the Perry Rhodan movie, they all have this very dissonant electronic music. I guess that was what they expected out of that, but for a film that's cobbled together from 3 episodes and made to move at a fast pace, it slows it down terribly. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then you have that really beautiful atypical Ennio Morricone piece with the female vocalist that comes in, that just really is in your face because it's so different from everything else.
I thought that was a little cringy.
Well, it is because I every time I hear it, I keep thinking of Fistful of Dollars or a Clint Eastwood spaghetti western. Yeah. Because that's what I think of that music, even though I've heard a lot more Morricone music. And in fact, we have an album coming out of one of his 60s scores, and it's similar to that, but that stuff is beautiful, but it's not appropriate for this film.
Right.
You reminded me of a movie. Gordon, did you ever see the movie? And I'm sure David's seen it too. You both probably have. The Demon Planet. It was with Barry Sullivan. It was
Planet of the Vampires.
Or Planet of the Vampires.
Planet of the Vampires. Yeah. That Mario Bava. Yeah,
Mario.
Oh,
Bava.
I just watched I think on YouTube they have the new remastered version, which looks beautiful. I mean, the colors and everything. You know, for a low budget film, he really makes everything pop.
But it has that kind of the music.
Yeah, same type of But that's, as I said, that's atypical of the Italian sci-fi genre. Though the one that breaks the mold is Star Crash.
Yes,
which uses John Barry. You know, so but most of the time that's what you expect when you watch any Italian science fiction film. They do that type of music.
Well, I got to say, some of the stuff that they did was kind of ingenious, especially when they kept Kano as front and center, still calling him Oma.
Oh,
that was painful. Yeah,
I wonder what the logic was, and my brain keeps going back to somebody said, no one will notice.
Yeah.
You know,
that's probably what it comes down to.
But
it's just like, okay, we have 2 episodes where main mission has the staircase by the windows, and then all of a sudden, the 3rd episode, the staircase is gone. No one will notice. Honestly, I'm guilty of that too, because that happens in Journey Through the Black Sun.
Yeah,
because Black Sun has the staircase, Collision Course doesn't.
Right.
But you couldn't help that. It's an awful way of looking at that character, where they could have, but they rewrote all this dialogue. They could have easily said, Uma died, here's Kano.
Yeah, they could have.
They could have thrown that in, because, you know, some of the new dialogue is very clever because it works to bridge all the edits, which is something I couldn't do. I mean, when I did the movies, you know, we had to keep stuff as the way it was. I just looked for anything that was inconsequential that I could cut, just to save time, because we were restricted to have a film that fit into a 2-hour time slot with commercials. And by the time we did the Super Space Theater movies, commercials, you know, American commercials were like, you know, 15 minutes out of an hour. Yeah. That's why Space 99 was edited down to begin with. So I was like, let's eliminate as much time as possible so nothing gets cut and the film makes somewhat sense, which I hope it did. I mean, I think Cosmic Princess works better than Collision Course did. It's a little wonky going from one story to the other. And I think in hindsight, I look back and I said, yeah, we never explained what happened, why the moon's in space in that movie. And I think I was kind of expecting Bob to do a main title that would have explained it, which he never did. But overall, I tried to keep them as faithful to the original episodes as possible.
Well, then, what did you think of Chris Dale's edit on Prisoners of Space? Then
it's interesting. It starts off a little rough, I thought, but once it clicks, it does actually work very well. I mean, we did that kind of editing when we did the Invasion UFO movie, which we took bits and pieces from other episodes to start off, because I knew I wanted to use the footage from Confetti Check A-OK that had the setting up a shadow, because I liked that UN sequence. I thought that was, because there's such a big jump from the attack on the Rolls-Royce into 1980. So I said, we have to bridge that so it flows a little better. And then we were able to pick up footage, so we introduced Paul Foster. But that was a lot of work, and we realized that we didn't have time to do that level of editing on all the films. There was no time, and it was more expensive because we had to have prints struck of every episode we used.
Gotcha.
And that was expensive. So if we were restricted to just 2 episodes, that's what we used.
Yeah. Well, I was telling Roy they did a pretty good job on the editing part, and even kind of injecting a little bit of metamorph scenes in there
Yeah, yeah,
in order to get that going.
yeah.
But with experts like me and Roy, we could tell, like, oh yeah, that's a metamorph.
Yeah, oh yeah. I don't think Chris, thought that anything would be different, that people would have fun like picking it apart.
Yeah.
The idea is
They did a good-
the idea is just to create a decent narrative flow, and it's just a different way to watch the episode.
Right.
Well,
and those two episodes work well because I mean they're both, those are, Koenig is away from Alpha,
right.
And
there were double up episodes anyway, shot at the same time.
It's introduced that he's exploring, so
I
so that was
would have used other double up episodes, but
Yeah.
So, what did you think of them reusing the Destination Moonbase Alpha music, the way that they started the movie? There were subtle differences, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, it's a consistency because Tim had to sort of reuse a lot of that footage when he remastered them, because it was just trying to rebuild the titles since they were all done on videotape.
Right. Well, I mean, this is the only time though that you get to see, or that they reused something that they, kind of created from the beginning. Destination Moonbase Alpha beginning, right? So y'all didn't do it in Alien Attack. Y'all didn't do it in Cosmic Princess or Journey Through.
Alien Attack was done by ITC London, as was Destination Moonbase Alpha. Mm-hmm. So they built up their own title.
No, I get that. It's just that it wasn't ever done again, except for this one time when they did Prisoner's Space. And I was just wondering, do you think that was probably a pretty good idea?
Yeah.
Out of all the beginnings of all four of the movies, I think Destination was actually pretty nicely done.
It sets up the whole plot.
Yeah.
We just have to get rid of that. It's the year 2100. Really?
Yeah.
And
the Star Wars role.
Yeah, well, I think I mean, there's a whole Star Wars thing with Destination because they just thought that, that's what they're, sitting on the coattails of.
Right.
At that time.
Well, it's only a year difference because that came in 78, right? I think.
Yeah.
So there's been a little. I know we're digressing way far away from Spazio, but with regards to Destination, the actual cinema posters, I was actually reaching out to Martin Wiley. What was the story behind creating these Advanced 1 sheets and then the Advanced 3 sheets of Chappelle's movie posters?
Well, Destination was theatrically released in some countries.
I heard.
I don't think Alien Attack ever got released theatrically.
But they produced these posters, I guess, because they were thinking that they would.
Yeah, well, they did. As I said, they did in some countries. I don't know offhand exactly which ones they were released in.
Just like the U.S., that was the only thing, right?
No, they couldn't do it in the United States because there was a contractual agreement with the Landaus.
Yeah, I remember you saying that.
That's why once the home video market started to open and ITC started dipping their foot into it, they got a lot of pushback from Martin Landau over the Sybil Danning videos.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. No, it's just that when these posters surface on eBay or something like that, I usually like to kind of bring a little bit of merch announcement to it because those are actual theatrical posters.
Yes.
But
I have the 1 sheet somewhere.
Yeah. So, if you could find one that's rolled, extremely rare.
Yeah.
Usually most of them are folded.
Yeah, I think mine was mailed to me folded.
Yeah.
Even so, folded in London.
Anyway, there's a little bit of back and forth discussion on, well, this wasn't released at theaters. Like, look, I don't care if it was or not. You still got an Advanced 1 sheet.
No, there was an intention to release Alien Attack theatrically, but by the time the film was completed, the home video market was starting to open up as a rental market, and I think that's where it ended up going.
I've never seen an Alien Attack movie poster.
No, there was no posters.
Yeah.
That I know for sure.
Hmm.
Only Destination Mumbai Salva, because they actually did have theatrical distribution on it.
Gotcha. Anyway, back to Spazio.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, one of the
Anyway,
other things that we didn't talk about in regards to things that were cut, in regards to Ring Around the Moon, when Koenig goes out with Carter the second go around,
Yeah.
trying to get through, that was entirely cut as well.
That was entirely cut.
Yeah.
When they examined, I'm forgetting his name now. The first victim,
Ted Clifford.
Clifford. That's not even mentioned until later on when they're looking at the thermograph of Helena, and Matthias says the same thing we saw there. Well, we didn't see that before.
Right.
You know, a lot of that goes on in Spazio, where they reference stuff that we didn't see. You were talking about the Metaprobe, and the funny thing is when we first see the Metaprobe, it's like they indicate like it's some hot rod that Alan's been working on for years. It can't working, and I'm like, what does that say about Alan?
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, like 10 years in the future, this is going to be coming out.
Yeah,
and and Gordon, you brought up earlier too, when we went a little ahead about when Alan is going to go out to go into orbit. Victor is the one that says, maybe Carter should go join them. And it's like Carter should go join them.
Yeah.
And then that was like that the dialogue, meaning like he's going to be dispersed.
Well, that's what I thought.
He's going into orbit.
Yeah.
There's dialogue that doesn't work. Yeah.
One thing I didn't know is that Victor had 4 nice boys.
Yes.
Isn't that a weird sequence?
Good.
It's just like, what did that have to do with everything else? I kept expecting it to lead to something, and it didn't.
No, it did.
And Koenig's response makes it sound like he has a family too.
Yeah.
That's
right.
But then all of a sudden we're into another time, another place, and there's the 2 Helenas fighting over him.
Yeah.
Like, when did that happen? When did the romance start?
Right. Yeah. Then we missed out on all of Regina's horror.
Yeah.
That part. We just cut to her bashing Matthias with the iron or whatever.
There's just a quick scene where she's peeling. I look ugly.
Yeah. Yeah. Unbelievable.
Yeah. So, it sped certain things up, but it also just made things a little weird.
And I missed out.
Seen it,
I missed the kids waving goodbye at the end of another time, another place. You cut all that out. That was a shame.
Yeah, but they had to have some adult dub the kids. That was just like, oh God, those voices.
Yeah, the voices.
Oh yeah. And it ends without the bouquet.
Yes.
Yeah. Which probably would have been a better ending. It's like a car crash. All of a sudden, boom! The Shakespeare quote comes up, and there we are. Yeah, I mean, it's like, what the heck?
And it's over. Oh my God! What did I just see?
And of course, there's Clifton Jones looking like, oh, what the heck was this?
Yeah, but I must say, putting this on my back burner ever since I've liked loved Space 1999, it was kind of refreshing to watch for the first time, because it was I took it with a little bit of a different attitude, because this was like prior to the season premiere, first of all, and I knew that, and it also a different country, so I knew that as well, so there's probably different interpretation. And just to see new information and how they interpreted it was very refreshing. It really was.
I mean, it's a curio, because you want to see what people saw the first time publicly.
Yes. Yes.
And considering the amount of money that RAI, the Italian television station, pumped into the show, it makes sense that they got an opportunity to see it first. It's kind of odd that you would think that they would have done a theatrical release in England too, but
yeah. Well, the really weird thing is that ask an Italian who's a fan, what did they think when they saw the Spazio movie, and then when they finally got to see the season premiere.
Yeah.
What did they think?
Yeah. I mean, the funny thing is the movie's is a bit of a, an odd duck in the sense that trying to find information about it is really hard.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a lot out there.
The original release date, it originally didn't show up in Internet Movie Database. We were lucky to find the poster so that they could use the poster art. And when I had supplied Network and then Anderson with all the promotional material. I mean, all those little mini photos that are in with the Anderson Entertainment box set were the publicity photos that I scanned off of my originals.
Yeah.
But then when Imprint was doing it, Imprint asked me to send them stuff. So all the photos in the little hardcover book are mine. And they were asking me to find a better copy of the poster. And I think they were the ones that came across the version that they have.
Oh,
pretty sharp. Because we were all looking for good stuff, because I never wanted, the cover art to look as bad as the original Network Invasion UFO did, because they were using like a third or fourth generation image. So I've supplied all the art to all these releases since.
Well, I got to say, it's amazing that even to this day, you now have 3 editions of Super Space Theater of Space 1999 edition.
Or actually, if you include the Ultimate Space 1999.
Well, then 5 then.
Yeah.
So you have Network's Ultimate. You also have the Aussies Ultimate, and then you also.
Oh, right. Oh, that I don't have. I only have Imprint. Only sent me this one.
Yeah, but if you had Imprint's Space 1999 Ultimate Edition, has all the original.
I didn't know that.
Not remastered though, the originals.
Oh, you mean off the VHS? Oh.
Yep, they threw them on there.
Nice.
But yeah, it's amazing how much interest there was. Obviously, us Gen Xers, we were just talking about this, and you probably tuned in. This is the only way we were able to thrive with 99 through the 80s.
A lot of people tell me about how important the SST movies were to them. I mean, the guys who did the Thunderbirds 1965 films said that this was their first exposure to it. So
yeah.
No, we were very fortunate to have this, because again, we were dry and we were very lean during that period of time. And
a lot of people were like, space what? Space who?
It's crazy.
Nobody, you guys know how many props and stuff went through my hands over the years, and so many people were like, what is the stuff? They don't know it. I mean,
right.
It's crazy.
But yeah, I'm glad to see that it's still being celebrated. The Imprint edition is amazing. I love the Anderson edition as well. I really, from the bottom of probably Roy's and my heart, we really do appreciate all the work and all the dedication that you've actually put into these particular projects, because yes, I bought every last one of them. Yeah. I have them all in my collection.
I mean, it's like I don't charge these guys for any of this assistance, because I want the stuff to come out looking good. I mean, I'm really looking forward to the Mobile and the Interceptor, because I was the one who corralled all the images for them. I got Mark Martin to supply all his high definition shots that he had of all the models and stuff, so we can make them as accurate as possible. I think it's very important.
Yeah. Are you talking about for the model kits?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm definitely looking forward to that.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't heard from the guys since I supplied the stuff. So, except for the photo at Wonderfest that showed the prototype.
Yeah.
Which is a bit rough cobbled together. I understand the wheels were off, but, I'm hoping to see, the final product, they'll remember it when this comes out.
I agree. No, I'm really happy that they actually did the repops for the Metamorph Eagle and the 2-pack war games for the 50th anniversary. Get that UFO out. They said spring of this year. I'm hopefully going to hold them to it, because I have promo stuff from 23, 24, and 25. So I know they've been busy, and I know that their main business is card.
But the biggest problem is also getting the licensor to, approve everything from the artwork right down to the typeset and everything.
Absolutely.
So it's a major thing, and the car thing is probably the easiest thing for them to do.
Well, I did ask Jamie if he was Jamie Hood, if he was
Yeah.
going to be doing artwork for the mobile, and I don't think they are. I think they're just going to do photos. I think if Jim Small's going to be involved, I think that they're only going to do photographs for the box art. Because I told Jamie, it's like, well,
Yeah, no, I mean Jamie could do some really good stuff. The mobile, the shots from Computer Affair, the mobile against the UFO in the forest is a classic shot.
Absolutely.
The interceptors flying over the moon base, there's great things. But I guess if he feels that this is an easier way to get past the license.
No, he's actually moved up. He's got promoted. So another individual is supervisor over the science fiction stuff.
Ah, that explains.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I'm sure you'll make sure they remember me. It was just like, oh, we forgot who we got the Comlock photos from. Oh,
ouch.
And then I had but Gordon made sure that I got a kit.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That I was able to say yes, it matches the real Comlock exactly.
Hey, did you ever get yours built?
No.
Need to get it built.
I've been wanting to build the stun gun since it'll fit in the little display you gave me next to the working Comlock, but
there you go.
Like everything else, it's like it's when you live in an apartment, building a model and is the easy part. Painting, it's the hard part.
Oh yeah, got those fumes.
The fumes, you can't spray paint. I mean, the last model I really worked on was when they originally came out with the TV Seaview, the big one.
Yes.
And before they even came out with things like lighting kits, I was lighting it and painting it. I mean, I everything that I learned from Martin Bauer and Ed Marecki on how models are made, how sanding the whole thing. But I had a store where I could work out in the parking lot and I could make a mess and it was no problem. Can't do that now.
Gotcha.
So I miss doing that,
I wish I could do that.
No, look, I am a terrible painter. I can't paint a straight line. If I can't spray paint it, I can barely put decals on. The last kit that I put together was a snap together Batmobile. And it was pre-painted, so that's fine. But all the decals I couldn't put on it.
Oh.
Because they had all the small little signs for the controls and stuff.
I sell the decals, but you also have to have one of these. You have to have nice.
Oh, there you go.
That helps.
It's funny. People have been putting up photos of the old Lincoln International snap together Thunderbirds, which were the first model kits that I ever got of Anderson stuff. And they were great because they were colored. You could snap them together, but the decals were a nightmare.
Oh, wow.
I used to have to soak them in hot water to get them to peel off if I was lucky.
Yeah.
They were just really the worst decals in the world.
Well, that was like with the MPC, with the Eagles back in the day. We had to do that. And then even with the, the AMT kits for Star Trek. I remember having to do that, the hot water. You'd let them soak and then they would separate. And then...
And the stripes would break.
Yep. Oh, I'm having nightmares about that.
Yeah. That was the great thing about the MPC Eagle kit. Except for the Alpha logos, you really didn't have to bother with anything. But that was always just a model. Just I liked the Dinky better because it was proportionally correct, except for the fact that the spine was wide and had all the little cross sections. But that was just a production thing. But the proportions were all wrong on the MPC.
Yeah.
From the pod hanging down and that lousy little bottom for the pod. And
well, you got to admit, though, over the years, I've seen people just tear them all up and to accurize them to death.
Yeah.
And I miss those days in a way because they turned out to be works of art of the amount of amazing custom work that they were able to implement into it. Now we're spoiled with accurate kits.
Oh, God, yeah.
Although I do love the kits and I'm not complaining about it, I do kind of miss the effort that went into each one of those plastic 12-inch kits.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
I mean, I remember the first time I saw an original Eagle, and I was like, the first thing that I focused on was the engine section, because all the piping and everything, it's like they simplified it so easily on the MPC Fundimensions kit or the Dinky. It was just like, but it looks so much more interesting in real life.
Speaking of Eagles and David Hirsch.
Yeah.
1982, Springfield, Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I got to hold Eagle 3 when we were up in Calgary.
Yes. I was going to actually put that photo up there too.
Yeah. I mean, I would have been nice to go to London to finally meet the Eagle 2, but I don't think he would have let me hold it.
Actually, he would.
You would? Okay.
He would. Yeah, he let me hold it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And you're clearly more important than I
am. I'm just honored that Darren Peters let me hold it, because I think up to that point he was like, nobody touch it, nobody touch it.
Yeah. So
then we were handing it off to people. We had Nick Tate hold it. We had Jeffrey Morris hold it.
Oh yeah.
By the way, speaking of Jeffrey, I'm surprised. You never see to see it at the when we had it 2 weeks ago at Raw Science Festival.
I wanted to, he reached out and everything, and I wanted to get there, but my problem is I didn't have any time with work, and I couldn't. I could have. It would have been tough, and then it would have been very stressful.
It was kind of tough because the festival was run a little.
Because it was 2:15, 2:30 on Friday.
Yeah, it actually started later because they were running late. But it was interesting because we didn't have a big audience, but we had some very important people there, and it was really fascinating hearing their reactions to it. I mean, they loved it.
That's awesome.
And he got an award and everything, and he had edited it slightly differently from the last time I had seen it. So, and you're in it, of course.
I was kind of bummed, but fortunately that we got to connect in Burbank, so that worked out. But it would have been nice to have been able to have made it to New York though. But I'm glad you got there. So that's
cool. And he's still hoping to sell it to a streaming service.
Cool.
But right now he's taking it all around. I think he's going to.
He was in California this weekend or last weekend, wasn't he? I think
this week.
This week. Yeah.
This week, he's going to Italy.
Yes, I saw that.
And he's going to where is the Big Eagle?
You're talking about Denmark.
Denmark.
Yeah, you're talking about Jan Weinberg's.
Jan's Eagle, because Jan's Eagle is featured prominently in it.
Yeah.
So he's going to go there, so Jan will get a chance to see it on the big screen.
That'll be nice.
Yeah.
I got a 25-foot Eagle.
You remember when he says to him, he said about making another one, and he says no.
No, yeah.
Absolutely not. That's it. You're lucky he finished it.
You know what he originally intended that thing to be?
Yeah, playset.
A playset for his kid. Yep.
Really?
Grandkid.
No, because he and his wife ran a daycare.
Oh,
so
that's
it was going to be out in the backyard for the kids to climb on, because weren't there photos floating around of one in Portugal in a playground?
Oh, yes, long time ago. Yep.
Yeah, long time ago. Because I know the pod door slides open, because I saw on one video he did that. I don't think he built an interior though.
Okay.
But it's just a beautiful. I mean, it's really accurate.
Mm-hmm. It's very nice.
Yeah.
Jeffrey also did a really good job with the documentary.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
The funny thing was, I remember I think I had talked to you about it, Roy, because the first time I watched it, I was kind of like, okay, it's not what I expected. Mm-hmm. And then I realized what I was feeling was the point of the documentary, and everybody at the Raw Science Festival got this. It's about the fact that back in the 60s and 70s, we all looked to the future as better, brighter. Everybody got along. There was nothing we couldn't do. And now the future is doom and gloom.
Yeah. Yep.
And
Right. So
it portrays that innocence and that hope. And that's what the eagle symbolizes.
Right. Well,
You know?
we all lived in that time frame.
Yeah.
I mean,
and Space 99 was not a show that took place hundreds of years in the future like Star Trek. It was 20 years down the road.
right.
Yeah.
And it was a future we said, oh, we're going to be there. We're going to see us living on the moon.
Yep.
But and then how practical is an eagle? It's the family RV.
Right.
That's right.
You know, it goes anywhere. You can retrofit it with anything you need.
Yep.
You know,
And the sad part was that none of that
all you got to do is pull up to an RV site and you can download. Absolutely.
right? Yeah. So it how it works as a symbol, and all that wonderful stuff where he goes to the young kids and he shows them the eagle, and then they all build their own little eagles out of cardboard and stuff. Then later he got
Got him a kid.
got them kits, the 14-inch kit, which they were thrilled with. It's like these kids, never saw the show before until Jeffrey saw it done, and they were just enamored with this spaceship.
But in a lot of ways, that was us growing up in that time frame.
It was.
70s. We would watch the show or shows like it, and we were inspired. We knew that man had the first man on the moon, 1969 on my birthday, July 20th.
Yeah,
and it was going to progress, and the space shuttle, and what was going to be next. We'd be going back to the moon. Eventually,
you want to live in that world.
Yeah.
You wanted to live on Moonbase Alpha. You wanted to live on the Starship Enterprise. Who watches Stranger Things and wants to live in that town? Who watches any of these current shows and says, "Yeah, I want to live there too."
Yeah.
You don't. It's great drama, but it's
doom.
Yeah, I was going to say I'm looking forward to the season 5.
Yeah.
Like the kids are going to be like in college.
Yeah, and that's true. That we have seen these kids grow up. That's.
Yeah, we have.
It's been how long since we saw the last episode?
Oh Lord, it's
What
been
is it,
3 years. 2-3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Andrew said that he saw it in Sydney and loved it. Andy Tucker said Jeffrey was in Los Angeles a few nights ago, Thursday.
Yeah.
And Philip is saying, thanks to Warp Models, Mike Reeder, and Paragraphics, the 12-inch Eagles can actually be made to look pretty nice.
Well, yeah, and I don't think mine's a Warp. There were two companies that did garage kits back in the 90s, 22-inch garage kits.
Well, the 22-inch garage kits was made by AB and Replicas Unlimited.
I think mine's Replicas Unlimited because every time someone posts the AB Eagle, it doesn't look like it.
You talking about the one Ed Maracki built?
Yeah.
That's an AB.
That's because that looks like Eagle.
I have one that looks almost like yours, but Ed did an amazing modification to yours.
He did, and the thing is heavy as hell.
It is. Yeah, it's solid resin.
He said to me, he said, "Oh, I'm going to do this so you could fly it around the room." I said, "I can barely carry the thing."
That's funny.
Because it weighs. I think it weighs more than the original.
He did amazing work. I remember the first time I met him was in '86. It was at a creation. It was actually the Penta Hotel. Mm-hmm. It was a creation event for Star Trek. I think the 20th anniversary, and he had his Jupiter 2. There, and I'm a huge Lost in Space fan, and I saw that and I was like, oh my god, that thing is so freaking cool. I mean, he had what's his name, Mark Myers does incredible work.
Yes, he does
that
stuff. But seeing that like almost 40 years ago,
it's like all these things that comes back memories. Doug Drexler was posting pictures of the Federation Trading Post.
Sure. Yeah.
Which, I spent a lot of time at because when Jeffrey Mandel and I were doing the Alpha Tech Notebook, Jeffrey worked there on weekends. So sometimes I went down there and we had to work on the book in the store. And of course, there was Len Sulugalski's Nomad, which he used to bring always to the Star Trek conventions. And it would sit there and talk all day because he had it hooked up to a tape recorder.
Wow.
Yeah, Doug was in Burbank.
Yeah.
He was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got
Yeah.
some. Yeah, I got some good photos with him.
Yeah.
He's such a heck of a nice guy, and he's doing this documentary. He's doing the fundraiser for the documentary.
Yeah. You know, because it's funny. Doug, I was out in Los Angeles around, I think it was the third season of Trek. And I got to go over to Paramount and meet Mike Okuda. Mike took me around the sets and everything. And I left Mike with some material that I would always bring with me because I didn't want people to think that I was like, you know, just saying, oh, I've done this, but here's samples of articles I wrote for Starlog, whatever. And about 6 months later, he calls me up and he says, you left me this stuff. Was this a resume you're looking for a job? And I said, well, no, not really. Why? What did you have in mind? He says, well, my assistant art director is leaving. Would you be interested in doing the job? And I had to think long and hard about it. And the problem was I had just started, I'd opened a retail store with my father and I couldn't walk out on my father. And I explained this to Mike and he said, well, the smart thing for you to do is to stay there because essentially we don't know if we're going to get picked up for another season. And being the last in, you're the first person they're going to fire if they have to cut payroll. So I passed on the job. And then later I found out that Doug got the job.
Wow.
So for the longest time, I was like really bummed out about it. And I said, I got to face my demons here. And while I was doing interviews with people like, you know, Mike and his wife, Denise, I said, let me do Doug. And I had a blast with him.
He's the nicest guy.
We had a terrific time. And I came out of it saying the better man got the job. Because all the things that Doug was able to do, I couldn't do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
talented.
Yeah.
He's
and he's always been a terrific guy. You know, he remembers me, you know, hanging around the Trading Post. So, yeah, I always appreciate when people say, "Yeah, I remember you. You weren't an idiot."
Hey, I'm going to start to kind of wind down a little bit. This is great, though. I mean, we went through like 2 hours pretty quickly.
Yeah, we did.
Want to just give a shout out to Starlog number 2. Always like to give Starlog Magazine a tribute on the show because Starlog was the place to be back in the day. We did not have computers, so I always like to just give a shout out.
That cover painting hung outside my office for a couple of years. I wish I was able to take it with me, but they wouldn't let me.
Somebody got that.
Yeah, somebody did at an auction.
Here
I mean, I got the big one, you know, the year 2 ITC painting.
Nice. So I'm going to do the shout outs real quick and then we'll come back and then wrap it up. But I'm just going to go through them really, really fast. So here we go. Alrighty. So I want to give a shout out to Mike and Mary Beth for Sci-Fi Distilled. They are on Wednesday nights. They are on hiatus until December 17th. They will not be returning until then. And actually, this coming weekend, they're going to be in New York, Ticonderoga, because William Shatner is going to be up there in Ticonderoga for William Shatner weekend. And there's going to be a lot going on. I'm not exactly sure of the dates that he's going to be there, but you go to the site, which is going to be, and I'm jumping ahead here, it's www.startrektour.com. You can check out the information in regards to that. And he's usually up there twice a year and usually right before Thanksgiving. So just definitely check that out. I want to give a shout out to my friend Bill that's out there tonight, Bill Scorado, Country Gate Playhouse. Country Gate just finished Frankenstein, and it was an amazing production. So they are going to be coming back next year for 2026. So stay tuned for their schedule. You can check out Country Gate at www.countrygate.org. Also, Bill has his own website to find out updates on what he is doing. It is www.billscorado.com. And then also a shout out to Captain Phil for Captain Phil's Planet at WUSB 90.1 FM, Stony Brook, New York. The captain's schedule is on Thursdays from 4 to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and he's also on Friday nights from 9 to 11:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And also, we were talking about the Eagle Obsession, our friend Jeffrey Morris. For informational updates, Jeffrey is touring around right now and showcasing the film. To find out information about the film, you can go to www.eagledocumentary.com. And also, I want to give a shout out to the upcoming announcement about Manchester 1999 taking place. In regards to the information on the website, you can go to www.space199950years.com. It's going to be taking place next year, September 11th, 12th, and 13th, and that'll be 2026. And again, Nick Tate, Anton Phillips, Suzanne Heimer, and also Carolyn Seymour have been announced. And again, in regards to information, in regards to what's happening, again, www.space199950years.com. It was just an announcement today and showcasing that. Also, I want to give a shout out to my son, Ryan, who has his own online coaching site, and it is called Run by Ryan, Empower Your Run. You do not have to pay anything to subscribe. There are different levels after that, but just to check out the site, you can go to www.runbyryan.com. There are different tiers and different levels for it. Ryan is very passionate about running. In fact, he just completed the New York City Marathon, and his time was 2 hours, 32 minutes, and 30 seconds, and he came in 160th out of, I think there was almost over 50,000 people there. In fact, I was in New York City 2 weeks ago today. I'm just very proud of him and definitely wanted to give him a shout out for that. He's amazing. Yeah. And then also a shout out to my partner in crime, Mr. Ross Amico. Ross is my co-host, and actually Ross and I have known almost like for over 40 years. We reconnected during COVID, and Ross has 3 shows that he does independently, which are on different days. The first show being Picture Perfect, which is on Fridays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. He does Sweetness and Light on Saturdays at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then he also does The Lost Chord, which is on Saturdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. He has a Facebook page called Classic Ross Amico, in which he teases his shows and talks about classical music. Ross is an encyclopedia when it comes to music, and he definitely has a lot to share and a lot to talk about. In fact, currently he's been involved in a documentary that's being filmed, and I think he just came back from Washington, D.C. about maybe 3 weeks ago. So in regards to that. Anyway, to check out his information, you can go to kwax.uoregon.edu. And lastly, Ross and I actually will be back next Friday, and the date will be November 21st at 7 p.m. We'll be discussing during the week what we'll be talking about. But next Sunday, I wanted to announce that I'm going to be having, as a very special guest, actress Carolyn Seymour joining the show, and she'll be coming on with me, and we'll be talking about her career and her involvement in, obviously, Space 1999 being part of it. She was in The Seance Spectre, playing Eva, the character of Eva, but also her involvement on Star Trek. She also did a show called Survivors, if anybody has seen that, which is incredible. I've actually just started watching it, and I have to say it really holds up, and it's incredible work that she did in that. So please hope that you'll join us. And that will be at a special time because Carolyn is in the UK, so I will be broadcasting next Sunday, November 23rd at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, just so you know. And that's it in regards to that. And thanks, guys. Just wanted to get that information there to everybody. But any last thoughts before we wrap? Any last minute comments?
Well, I hope we haven't turned anybody off for watching this movie.
No, because that was definitely not the intent. It was basically, I mean, it was actually to let everybody know it's out there and it's different.
It's still Space 1999. It's just seeing it from a different perspective. That's all.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
And you still have the original episodes to go back to as a palate cleanser.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
So I was going to say that basically, as a fan for the last 50 years, watching our own episodes that were uncut, this is an interesting, fresh approach to look at, and I absolutely love doing it. even though a lot of it was a little bit jaw dropping.
Yeah.
Still can't believe Victor has four sons.
No wonder he's on the moon. He's got to get away from the noise.
Yeah, that or he's got to make more money to put them through college or something. Yeah. But at either rate, it is absolutely refreshing to check out something a little new.
Yeah.
And do what Roy said. You got to watch it at least twice. The first time you're really going to be shaking your head with your jaw drop. It's like that wasn't there. That didn't happen. Yeah. What is that?
But remember all the times you used to watch the episodes cut.
Yeah.
The first time. So, I mean,
absolutely.
The funny thing is, when I was listening to you guys talk about how, like Gordon, you said how you had to get 2 VCRs to copy Destination Moon's Alpha.
Yeah.
I had the opportunity to get copies of uncut episodes back in the early 80s. ITC loaned me their U-matic tapes.
Wow.
And I had to rent a U-matic tape deck from a professional video house.
Nice.
And with two friends of mine, we went into the Starlog office on one weekend and linked all the units together and copied all the episodes that we were able to borrow.
Nice.
That's how we got a copy of the original Matter of Life and Death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, with the
it's funny you're mentioning
about
that.
with the original logo stuff.
Yeah, the original logos and the video titles, because that was the first completed episode.
At one point, I took that on where I had on videotapes that had different edits, and what I did was painstakingly I went through. I think I only did it for the first season. I went through and I actually edited so I could have a complete episode.
Yeah.
And it was very long and very painful.
It was, because whatever station you watched it on had different edits.
Yeah. And I didn't even realize that. And I've told the story on the show so many times, but it's just that, we lived in Bergen County. We were in Wallington, New Jersey from 71 to 76. So when we moved out here in this area, it was at the end of November. My dad had gotten a job that was out towards Flemington. Mm-hmm. And he would have to commute like 65 miles one way a day. So he did that for 6 months. And then what happened was we moved out here. Space 1999 was being shown on Channel 17 out of Philadelphia. Yeah. So I was catching it on 17 and then also on 11. And when I would watch it on 17, I would see the different material that was in it. I was like, whoa, this is really cool. I never saw this before, because 11 always, had the cuts.
The best edits.
Yeah.
You really did. So, you didn't miss too much. I remember the first time I thought something was missing from Breakaway was when Koenig's, mulling things over in his quarters. You hear the voiceovers and you don't see a lot of those scenes.
No, gone.
That was the other thing. That was the other thing we forgot to mention in Spazio, where where he's not mulling the stuff over. He's talking to the computer, and the signal is the computer.
Yep.
Yeah.
The computer really
in the dark.
Computer really played a big part. In fact, even with the whole thing with we're going back in here, guys. But with Ring Around the Moon, it was about the computer too, and
couldn't do anything with the computer not working.
Yeah,
that they kept talking about.
Yeah,
which the show never really did. I mean, computer was important for some things, but they were not completely incapable of running things without computer.
No.
Out of all the stuff that they should have cut, I was thinking maybe Helena's tickling the keys cut. They should have cut that out.
Yeah, well, that's the fact that the keys have no symbols on them is like, come on,
she's not hitting a bad button.
You're doing a close up. You should know what they're hitting.
That's not an airlock button.
That's like when
that button there is the erase everything, erase all.
That's like when the tape, the paper comes out and you see that there's clearly nothing written on it, and then they're reading from it.
or they scratch little letter-set symbols on it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But that's like Brian Johnson says, you were never meant to see that on the old TV screens.
No, and that's so true. And I remember when I was interviewing him about 5.5 years ago already. My God. And that subject came up, and he's like, "Hey, you guys are cheating. You weren't supposed to have high definition where you're seeing the wires."
Oh yeah.
But
So true.
anyway, I'm going to cut it short.
Yep.
Guys, thank you. Don't go away, though, because we'll talk in the green room after. But I just want to say goodnight to everybody. I want to thank you both for being on. Gordon, thank you for, when we started talking about this idea, it was a great idea, and we went with it, and it was definitely a lot of fun. And it's great to have you on the show, too.
I do appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun.
Great to see you, Gordon.
And
You too,
David, thank you for being back as always.
Anytime,
And,
anytime.
have both of you back on.
Yeah.
And as we always like to say to everybody, even though this is Space 1999, we've been focused on live long and prosper.
Everything.
Take care, everyone. Have a good night.
Good night.